What's up, A to Z Sports Live on this Thursday morning? Going to have an interesting conversation because the Titans surprised Kristian Fulton by ending his season, placing him on injured reserve, and most likely ending his Titans career by doing that move. And so, Jack, we're going to talk today a lot about Kristian Fulton, maybe for one of the last times. This is the crazy thing, because I see Trey in the chat says, let's talk about another bust. Yay. This might be one of the last Kristian Fulton conversations we'll ever have when it comes to the Tennessee Titans, other than him being brought up in a list of busts that didn't work out for the team. But this is a dynamic conversation because of the video we're going to play and what Kristian Fulton told people yesterday about this move and what Mike Vrabel had to say about the move as well. So we got some drama with this Kristian Fulton update for his season-ending IR stint. And then we'll talk about C.J. Stroud, who did not practice with the concussion and the protocol, and our confidence level that the Titans can beat the Texans without C.J. Stroud. And then, Jack, it's the Magic Bucket. Reloaded. We got some new things in the bucket right there. The Magic Bucket to wrap up today's Thursday show. Jack, welcome in. Let's get this show off the ground.
Yes, happy to be here this morning. Wearing glasses today, so go ahead and get your jokes out while you can, chat.
You battling an injury? You fighting through some pain here?
It's always something with me, I swear. But yeah, we're covering up an eyelid issue right now, but we'll get that fixed up in no time. I won't be going on IR like Kristian Fulton. But while you guys are filing in right now, we've got a lot to get to today. It's an interesting week for Titans fans. We want you to share the show. If you're watching on Facebook, share the show to your Titans Facebook groups. There's been some buzz this week coming off that win against Miami. Can the Titans find a way to win 2 in a row in the Oilers gear against the Houston Texans this weekend? A lot to talk about when it comes to that game. So share the show. Let's grow the audience, grow the show. We want to grow the chat and get to all of your comments today, or at least as many as we can. If you're watching on YouTube, tap that bell icon at the top of your screen. Turn your notifications on so you get an update every time A to Z Sports goes live or posts any A to Z Titans content. You're not going to want to miss a thing this week. Next, and finally, if you're watching on Twitch, text that Twitch link to your Titans text groups. If you've got an opinion on Kristian Fulton, if you've got an opinion on this Sunday's game, we want to hear it in the chat today. So text that link out. Let's get everybody in here. And Austin, let's get the show on the road.
Yep, let's do it officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports, powered as always by the BetMGM app. Get my BetMGM shirt rocking this morning. We are A to Z Sports Nashville's on-demand sports talk network. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Jack Gentry of the Tighten Up podcast, and we go live weekday mornings at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the show segment by segment on our Twitter X timeline, and also hit us up on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more great Titans content. We got to thank our sponsors because they make it happen for us, and they help out all of you, like Wilson County Hyundai, make them a part of your new car buying process in Lebanon or online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Farm Bureau Health Plans, get better with Farm Bureau Health Plans at fbhp.com/ATOZ. The Aura app, protecting your information online, and get a 2-week free trial with our sponsor, Aura, at aura.com/ATOZ. And Krebs Kubota, an elite Kubota dealer with 3 great locations in the mid-state, Columbia, Murfreesboro, and in Franklin. They're online at KrebsKubota.com. Man, oh man, Jack, are the comments out to get Kristian Fulton today? Scott, bye Fulton. Rusty, another draft bust. Billy, adios Fulton. There's more. Rusty again, bye Fulton. We've got a lot of people hating on Kristian Fulton this morning. So we're going to really dive into all of this, Jack. But we got the email yesterday from Titans Media Relations, Kristian Fulton going on injured reserve alongside Titans defensive lineman Kyle Pecco, who got hurt in Miami. And with both of those guys going on IR, we also know that in order to come back off of IR, you have to first miss a minimum of 4 games on injured reserve. The Titans only have 4 games left. Kristian Fulton missed the Miami Dolphins game. if the Tennessee Titans thought Kristian Fulton could at all come back this season, they could and should have put Kristian Fulton on IR before the Miami game, because then he could have actually come back in the last week of the season if they thought that was a situation. And I think this video we're about to play from Kristian Fulton via Kayla Anderson shows a lot about where Kristian Fulton is at, where he thinks he's at. He mentions you got to ask Mike Vrabel, and then where the Titans view him by putting him on IR. And honestly, surprising Kristian Fulton by ending his season early. Here is the Titans cornerback who has seemingly played his last game in two-tone blue.
I mean, it's just the process, you know, that you got to go through. Not happy about it, but just live and you learn, and, you know, just hope to see what's to come next.
Kristian, you were so confident in the summer that everything you'd done this offseason, your training, had put you in a place that it would be different this year.
Yeah.
Is it extra frustrating because it didn't turn out the way you expected?
I mean, yeah, it is. Because like I said, I feel like I have done everything, you know, to stay on the field. And it didn't happen, so I don't know. Go figure, I guess.
Where do you go from here? I mean, I know obviously the first step is to get healthy, but the contract is up in March.
Yeah. You got to let it play out, you know. There's still a lot of season left. I know we went out, you know, we still got to change, you know, playoffs or whatever. So that's just the main goal. You know, I'm going to do what I can, you know, to help the guys around while I'm still around in the locker room or in the film room. But, yeah, you got to see where it goes from the end of the season, from now to the end of the season.
At what point did you feel like this might be season ending, might linger? Did you kind of feel like you'd be able to come back, or what landed on IR this season?
I don't know. I just found out myself. So, like I said, I was gonna try to get back to the team. I knew we had 5 games left, so I was gonna do what I can to help.
Did it surprise you being put on IR? Did they kind of tell you?
I mean, y'all can talk to Vrabel about it, but how that went down. So I don't know. I just found out, like I said.
I know this is frustrating for you. Anybody who, you know, has been here, has dealt with injuries.
Mm-hmm.
What do you turn to just in terms of keeping that hope and positive attitude, whether it's playing here next year or somewhere else where you can continue your career?
I mean, the thing is, for me, I know injuries happen, you know, and like I said, I went through all the precautions, you know, I changed diet, everything, you know, that I could to stay healthy, and it didn't work out. So, like I said, I know I did my part at the end of the day. I went the extra mile for my team, and it didn't work out. So I can't be mad at that, you know. I'm glad I'm alive, you know, I'm blessed to be in this position, and, you know, you got to see where it goes.
So there's Kristian Fulton. And, man, Jack, there is a lot of questions. Cost, he doesn't give a damn. Darren, I think he's excited to leave. Alex says cocky for no reason. So long, Fulton from Jay. Titans Kyle says Kristian, zero accountability. Fulton, bye Fulton, coming from Stephen King. Curtis saying peace. David says his lack of self-awareness is unbelievable. Gilbert says another John Robinson disappointment. And Curator bringing up his own words that he had in training camp. I will be out there for all 17 games. Biggest lie of 2023. Now, I don't think Kristian Fulton was lying to people, because in order to lie, you have to have, you know, it under your control to play all 17 games. I think it was a little bit of, you know, overconfident and with that comment, and you never really want to put yourself up to fail like that. And so, Jack, I'm going to ask this question. And I think it's going to be a controversial question for me to ask. But do you at all feel bad for Kristian Fulton? Because clearly, watching and listening to his words there, he didn't think he was going to be out for the next 4 games. I think he thought he was going to keep playing. He was surprised that he went on injured reserve. He told the media that. And then, you know, I will say this, because there are some hell no's and some no's that are coming in answering my question real quick. I do think we have to understand, and I know this, and I know other people in the Nashville media know this. Kristian Fulton said that he went the extra mile in that clip. I believe he did. He changed his diet. He spent and invested money of his own dollars into his body and his training this offseason. He trained under LeBron James's trainer in Florida. He doesn't drink alcohol. He does everything he possibly can. He lifts weights. He changes everything about what he wants to do with his recovery. He gets the IVs every week to make sure he can recover as well too. I truly believe that he did go the extra mile and spend the extra dollar on himself to try to be out there as much as possible. It didn't work out, but do you at all feel bad for Kristian Fulton? Because hell no is the overwhelming answer from the chat.
Yeah, so I do feel bad for Kristian Fulton, and I see the comments rolling in the chat. I think it's fair to be disappointed in his tenure as a Titan, and it's okay to feel like he let this team down. At the end of the day, they were relying on him to become a number one corner. And while he showed signs of that at times when he was healthy, especially in that 2021 season, he was a really big part of the defense. And that was his best season as a Titan, 2 picks. But there wasn't a lot to show for it over 4 years. He's got just 4 interceptions, 1 forced fumble, so he created 5 takeaways. But he missed 25. He's going to end up missing 25 games in those 4 years if he doesn't come back at all this season. So it's
the only way he can come back is if they make the playoffs.
Exactly.
And so Kristian Fulton the Titans have a 1% chance to make the playoffs, and that's Kristian Fulton probably has a less than 1% chance to make the playoffs, considering that they have to activate him to come off of IR if they do make the playoffs. So it's a slim chance for sure.
Yeah, and when he was drafted, it felt like a great value pick because he was a first-round talent at the time, or at least viewed that way by a bunch of top draft scouts. And he fell to the second round with some off-the-field stuff. But it really felt, and even and you were at training camp this offseason, it felt like he was kind of piecing it back together a little bit. Yeah. So he comes out and gets burned. The deep plays, the explosives were his downfall. I do, and you actually came over for a brief second yesterday, and we talked about this. Yeah, and I said, what's going to happen, right? Is he's going to go somewhere else, and he's going to look like, that guy.
Second round pick.
Exactly. So I think it's fair to be disappointed. He had a disappointing finish, and really durability. We talk about how availability is the biggest, is the best ability. Kristian Fulton, for the most part, was not available. So it's kind of the same energy you have to have when you discuss Traylon Burks and not being able to put it together just because you're not out there long enough. There's no continuity. It's hard to build confidence when you're missing games and you're worried about your hamstring. It was a knee, it was a hamstring, it was a groin for Fulton. 3 different injuries sidelined him for significant periods of time throughout his career. And I don't know that changes when you get older. I don't know if like a new destination or a new training staff or a new diet, a new training regimen, I don't know if that gets fixed by moving anywhere else. I think it's telling that Kristian Fulton was surprised by this move because the Titans appear to be done with him. There's Vrabel's called him out in press conferences, the soft tissue stuff. It just feels like the Titans are ready to move on, and they're doing it now so they can get a look at their cornerbacks to head into next season and really figure out how to construct the back end of their secondary heading into the offseason with a lot of money.
Yeah, so look, I want to get to, because there's somebody that says, Byron says Vrabel is done with him, and MB has a good comment in here. And so Andre also defending himself in the chat. So I want to get to what Mike Vrabel was said after Fulton went on IR. Mike Vrabel was asked about it. We'll get to Mike Vrabel's thoughts about Kristian Fulton's season being over with the IR designation yesterday. But first, speaking of injuries, if you have that injury that happens in life, the Bone and Joint Institute is where you should turn. It seems like nearly every time I talk about the Bone and Joint Institute, I'm coming off of some type of injury conversation with this Titans team over the last 3 years. And we've been working with the Bone and Joint Institute for a long time in Franklin. They have all the experts and the resources under one roof, right off the interstate, super accessible to get to, right next to Williamson Medical Center. And they are partners with Williamson Medical Center. So the Bone and Joint Institute truly has every resource that you could find and need for your health. Don't let that injury linger. Go check out the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org.
Let's talk about the king of sportsbooks for a quick second. BetMGM, it's the perfect place to go if you're looking for a new sportsbook, you're looking for something that's easy to access. It's very user friendly. Live betting options, parlay selection features. They've got it all at BetMGM. And there's no better time to get some skin in the game than right now, when everything is happening all at once in the sports world. Bowl games start this weekend. There's a lot to get to, but make sure you use our promotion and our bonus code in order to maximize the value of your BetMGM subscription. First bet offer with bonus code A to Z Sports gets you up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet misses. Sign up, plug in our code ATOZ Sports, and you'll get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet misses. Guys, if you aren't already signed up with BetMGM, do it now and make some money this week in bowl season.
There you go. All right, so Jack, before I get to Mike Vrabel and his comments about Kristian Fulton, I want to bring up MB's comment, because I asked the question, and do you at all feel bad for Kristian Fulton? Jack, you said you do. I feel bad for Kristian Fulton, because nobody should want to root for a human being to fail at their dream. That sucks. And if you do, you suck. And I'm just going to say it. If you are rooting for somebody to fail at their dream, then what are you doing with your life? But MB says, Austin, I feel sorry for him somewhat, but this shouldn't have been a 1 year I've seen the light. He should have committed 4 years ago, because Kristian Fulton said that he went the extra mile with his offseason. And so I'm going to go through a timeline, because like I mentioned, I have a little deeper background on Kristian Fulton. I've said it before in this. This is not like a 1 year I've seen the light, I changed everything. Kristian Fulton, and this is going to sound like an excuse, and you can take it that way if you want, but this is the reality. Much like Caleb Farley, Kristian Fulton's 4 years in Tennessee has been a series of unfortunate events. Now, Caleb Farley's have been much more severe, especially with what happened this past August with his father's unfortunate passing with the house explosion and fire that he's still working through as well. But Kristian Fulton, 2 off seasons ago, not this past one, but 2 off seasons ago, had a significant illness. He was sick for like 2 straight weeks and lost a lot of weight and a lot of muscle. So therefore, he had to hurry back and try to get that weight back, and did it in a way that probably was not the smartest way, but it was a rushing of I have to get like 20 pounds back on a 195-pound frame. And so that is a series of unfortunate events. He also had a shoulder surgery before getting sick, so he had to go through 2 of those things. And then he also had COVID, and he had some lasting effects from COVID his rookie year, and missed 5 games because of that. So he has gone through some stuff. I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm trying to give the full picture of reality. So for MB saying that he should have committed by more than just 1 year, like I don't think Kristian Fulton's been uncommitted to his craft. No. I just think he's had a weird series of off seasons that he's had to work back through some stuff. And you can point to all types of professional athletes that have had to go through that, and working back from an injury just gets you to even instead of getting you to where you want to improve. Marcus Mariota is a great example. He has a great 2016 season, and everybody's like, Marcus Mariota is showing that he can be the guy. But he breaks his leg on Christmas Eve, and then he has to spend the entire offseason going into year 3 recovering from that injury to get back to where he was, instead of getting and growing to where he needed to be. So, look, I feel for Kristian Fulton. It sucks. I feel bad for the guy, because before this year, when he was out there, he played good football. This year, when he was out there, he wasn't playing good football because he wasn't doing his job. And so you can feel bad for Kristian Fulton, but like you said eloquently, also be very disappointed and be a letdown. Does this change Kristian Fulton's label of bust? No. But I do think I absolutely feel bad for the guy, because, what else? He's sitting there going like, what else can I do? Yeah. I hurt my hamstring chasing on an overtime play, and now I'm done. And he wanted to have a great year because he wanted to earn a contract in Nashville or elsewhere for the rest of his career. And it came out to be the worst possible contract year Kristian Fulton could have had.
Yeah, and the chat clearly frustrated with the way that this has gone with Kristian Fulton, and I think there are a couple of important distinctions to make. Billy says guys that don't work out need to move on, like any job. I don't feel bad. that's fine. And you know, it wasn't Kristian
There can
Fulton
be
who,
both, I think, right?
yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
exactly.
Like, yes, like firing people sucks. And I'm a co-owner of this company. Firing people is something that comes with having that responsibility. And just because you have to let somebody go doesn't mean you don't feel bad for them or wish them well on the other side. So you can be a human and understand that there's business and there's humanization of people, and understand that you can go through those things, and it's very complex feelings with personal relationships with business.
And then the other side of the coin is his attitude, right? Matt Stoller says, I want to feel bad for him, but his attitude won't let me. Here's the difference with Kristian Fulton this season than, you know, the previous 3 years. There's been more cameras in his face this season. And I think you could argue that this has been his worst season as a Titan. So the combination of more, you know, a bigger spotlight on Fulton in a pressure cooker of a season on a contract year, and then you're playing poorly on top of it. It's hard to sit up there and answer 10 straight questions from the media, right? When you know you're playing bad, when you know you're not playing up to your potential, when you know that team is probably going to find someone else this offseason in free agency to replace you. So he was put in a tough spot, but he you know, these injuries and his play on the field, it didn't help him out at all at the same time. So it's kind of a double-edged sword for Fulton, and it just hasn't worked out. This was the year where they needed to see a big time jump from him, and they didn't see it. Now, what you have to feel okay about is the way that the secondary performed against one of the NFL's top flight offenses this past Sunday in the Miami Dolphins with Kristian Fulton off the field. It shows that, hey, they can make this thing work without Fulton. And, you know, I don't think any Titans fans surprised that the secondary doesn't look, you know, all that bad without Fulton, just with the way he's played this year. But it at least gives you a little confidence heading into next season when you're probably going to shake this thing up a little bit.
Yeah, and Balzar says, why are we spending so much time talking about this? We all knew this was the last year here. It just came a little sooner. It's because this has been a massive story. And, you know, Jay says, did Fulton know he was playing bad? And that's something that I've been critical of Fulton this year, of not understanding that he was hurting the team. And he was, I think it was the first Colts game. He was like, you know, when you're on everything, they have to double move you. And then you get penalties because you're getting double moved. You get beat. And it's like, well, bro, you're not on everything. You're giving up like a perfect quarterback rating when being targeted in the first 5 weeks of the season. And so there's a lot of animosity from the Titans fan base towards Kristian Fulton. And I do think, I hope that Titans fans can like let it go as Kristian Fulton is being let go. But I do want to play this video from Mike Vrabel for the people that think and that have said Mike Vrabel is over Kristian Fulton. Because again, Byron said Vrabel is done with him. I saw another one. Amar says it's personal with Fulton and Vrabel. He lost favor with Vrabel and got benched eventually, IR. He said he probably could come back this year. Vrabel seen enough and shut him down. So let's play this from Mike Vrabel, because I do think Mike Vrabel gave an honest opinion when asked about Kristian Fulton's injury yesterday.
Kristian, was there a setback of any kind that landed him on IR, or was it just kind of processing through the original injury and figuring out when he could go?
Yeah, it was just an original injury.
How disappointed are you for him that it's season ending and, you know, maybe even ending his time here?
Well, I don't know about any of that other than just disappointed that, you know, he won't be able to be with us or help us, and you know, just unfortunate. And you know, I want everybody that's here that, you know, want him to be healthy and want him to play and want him to help us, and like that's my hope. And you know, I know he's disappointed, and we're disappointed for him, just like Pecco. You know what I mean? These guys put a lot into it, and they play hard, and it's unfortunate when, you know, I know that they're not looking for a way out. Like, neither of those guys are looking for a way out. They got injured, and you know, gotta create a roster spot. And so, you know, even if we didn't need the spot, neither of those guys would have been back anytime soon.
So I think the very end of that from Vrabel, neither of those guys would have been back anytime soon, regardless of the roster spot, I think is a difference of opinion between Vrabel and Kristian Fulton. And look, I want players to be confident in their ability to do something, right? So you want Fulton to think he was able to come back. But what Vrabel said, and neither of those guys was looking for a way out. Vrabel said that before we heard from Fulton in the locker room. Kristian Fulton was not trying to get his way out. He was not asking for his release. He was not saying, let's shut me down. I'm done. I don't want to be with this place anymore. There's none of that stuff. And so, Jack, do you have any response to what Vrabel had to say? Because I think Vrabel's clearly disappointed as well in one of his players not having it work out for him.
Yeah, and this isn't a new feeling for Mike Vrabel when it comes to Kristian Fulton either, right? Like, he's been disappointed that Fulton hasn't been able to be on the field for the past 4 seasons. This is a difficult conversation just because of, the expectations that we all, and I'm sure the Titans as well, once had for Kristian Fulton, and he just doesn't live up to it. I think it's a smart move for Kristian Fulton when you're playing the politics game to say that, hey, like, I'm surprised I was shut down, because he is an upcoming free agent. You don't want teams to be scared of your hamstring injury, which has been a reoccurring issue for you ever since your second year in the league. So when he says that I'm surprised I was shut down, I feel like I was getting better, I feel like I'm getting closer. It doesn't scare as many teams off, I guess. That's the only thing I can think of. But I thought Vrabel was pretty honest right there. It didn't seem like he was hiding anything.
Yeah.
So when and he brought up Kyle Pecco too to say, hey, this isn't just a Kristian Fulton thing. Like, we've got another guy who hadn't had issues, who doesn't have the expectations or the draft label that Fulton has. We're also disappointed in for him, to not be able to return this season. So I do think I do trust Vrabel and what he said right there when it comes to Fulton.
All right, so Jack, let's ask another question to the audience here. This is going to be interesting. What percentage chance do you give Kristian Fulton to return to the Titans next season? What percentage chance do you give Kristian Fulton to return to the Titans next season? This one's got my curiosity spiking. But Krebs Kubota is where you should turn for all of your equipment needs. KrebsKubota.com. Check them out for all of your equipment needs. An elite Kubota dealer in Middle Tennessee, because they have the best equipment in the industry with the Kubota line and the best warranties for when you need the replacement parts and the fixing and the repairs for your equipment as you're using a lot of power, a lot of force with your equipment around your property, getting those projects done in the spring. Krebs Kubota has 3 great locations in the Middle Tennessee area because they are a great family-owned and operated company, because they started in Columbia. They went so well with their customer service. 18 years after opening the doors in Columbia, they were able to expand to Franklin and Murfreesboro as well. So they're doing a great job, because family-owned and operated companies don't just grow like that without being very good at what they do. Online, KrebsKubota.com.
BetMGM.com. Check out the King of Sportsbooks online if you're looking to get some skin in the game. There's plenty of action going on right now. But jump in with our bonus code A to Z Sports. Code ATOZ Sports gets you up to $1,500 back in bonus bets. If your first bet misses, don't worry about it. You have some bad luck. You get a bad beat on your first bet. You start out in the red. Nobody wants that. BetMGM is going to help you out and get you a little bonus bet so you can get yourself back in the green and start cashing those checks and start winning some money. So do it with BetMGM and sign up with our bonus code A to Z Sports.
All right, so Jack, what percentage chance do you think the Titans will re-sign Kristian Fulton in the offseason? I'll send you to the chat. We have percentages. Not many are high, but hey, let's see what the people are saying here. Also, like the show. We need more likes. Hit that like button. Thumbs up on Facebook, especially on Facebook. Facebook's likes are so low right now. What are you guys doing? There's like 3 times as many people watching the show that have liked the show. And I'm sure the same thing is on YouTube as I'm checking right now. We need way more people to like the show on both of these platforms, Facebook and YouTube. But Jack, what are the percentage chances that Kristian Fulton is back next year?
Yeah, comments pretty low all around. JR, Jared, Scott all say 0. Guy Mann says 2. We've got a 0 from Patrick and Amar and Eric. Stephen King, -5% chance. Denise is at a 0. Alex Bynes at 1.5. Jared, higher, top tier. Terrence, all at 0s. Michael Snyder, 0.1%. Darren Lee says 30%. Nick Ewing, 0. Chase says 0. Darius agrees. Stevie on YouTube, 25%. Bork says 10%. Manny, I like this, 6%. Ty Kendrick says 0. Reed says 0. Or excuse me, Reed says 5. Darius says 1. Andre, Corey, and Danny all at 0. Austin, I don't think it can be 0. I am going to put it at 2%.
2%.
2%.
Is that your milk? Is that your milk type too? Are you 2% milk guy?
Just like my favorite kind of milk. And Austin, I think it's a combination of things, right? They let David Long walk, who I thought was more accomplished in his time with the Titans than Fulton has been able to produce. And you see what he's doing. He's leading Miami's defense in tackles. I don't know that Kristian Fulton's going to be, that type of player on a new team. I think that he's going to probably take a backseat role. And, you got to look at the class of upcoming free agents at the cornerback position, right? And I'm going to read some names off, and I want the chat to comment a name that they like and would like to see in two-tone blue next season if Fulton is not back.
So there's cornerbacks that are pending free agents. Yes,
these guys will be hitting the market this offseason. Adoree Jackson, that we tried that didn't go well. Kendall Fuller is an option. Stephon Gilmore, a little bit older of an option. Jeff Okudah, Kenny Moore, Awuzie from the Bengals is intriguing. Emmanuel Mosley up at Detroit right now. Rock Ya-Sin in Baltimore is an upcoming free agent. Shaquille Griffin, Trey Herndon, CJ Henderson from Carolina, who missed the Titans game but is a promising cornerback. Dane Jackson, Ronald Darby, Jalen Johnson from Chicago is a name to watch, I think. He's
chat was on that one before you started listing. Yeah.
He's a rising star who's shown a lot of potential in Chicago. He'll probably get a lot of money. But there's some intriguing options out there for the Titans to go spend on this offseason without breaking the bank at that position. So I don't think that Fulton will be back. I do expect them to upgrade through free agency. It'll be more interesting to me in what they decide to do with Sean Murphy-Bunting, because I think he's shown enough for the Titans to say, hey, well, you know what? You want to come back for a year or two? We'll talk contract with you, Sean Murphy-Bunting. But I think it's time to let Kristian Fulton walk. The play hasn't been there when he's been on the field. He hasn't been on the field enough. It's just time to move on from Kristian Fulton and find a new player elsewhere.
Yeah, you said 2%. Man, I also agree. I don't think it can be 0, but I'm going to go 0.5. I think it's 0.5% because I don't think this would be mutual. I think Kristian Fulton wants a fresh start. And it's unfortunate because I think what he's built in Nashville is valuable with his shop that he's got in the trenches in North Nashville and what his brother's doing in the Nashville community. But again, I think Kristian Fulton wants a fresh football start to go somewhere else and have another opportunity. And so I think the 0.5% is could just, you never know what's going to happen. I think it's the Titans, if he's not going to be signed before the market opens, right? Like if the case for Kristian Fulton to come back is like if Kristian Fulton is still unsigned once you get into June. That's the only opportunity that Kristian Fulton will have to come back. And I don't know what his market's going to be like, just because who's going to sign a free agent cornerback that's missed 25 games in 4 years? I don't know what the percentage of games missed is, but that's it's not quite 2 seasons, but it's about a season. It's over a season and a half, isn't it? Or right at a season and a half.
Yeah. Exactly.
And he's missed out of 4 years. So I don't know what's going to happen with Kristian Fulton. I definitely think he's got a lot of talent. I saw it in training camp with my own eyes. The guy was locked on. He was locked down. It wasn't just Kristian Fulton covering the guys that didn't make the team. He was covering everybody and winning one-on-ones. Like we talk about here's a little blast from the past. Logan Ryan stopped talking to Zach and I because we kept posting videos on the social media of wide receivers beating DBs in one-on-ones. Logan Ryan was so sensitive towards that point in his Titans career that he didn't want to talk to us because we were being unfair to him and cornerbacks for posting wide receivers winning goal line one-on-one reps. Well, you know what, Logan Ryan? You weren't very good at those. I watched Kristian Fulton win so many one-on-ones this past training camp. Like, it's crazy. Like, I was sitting there next to Teron Davenport and Sam and who else was I talk to all the time? I'm trying to think of Titans media. John Glennon. Like we're watching Kristian Fulton win one-on-one from the 2-yard line and just lock down dudes week after week in camp. And and he's covering everybody. Lee Grant said, "Oh, covering NWI." No, he's covering D-Hop. He's covering Burks. He's covering Kyle Phillips. Any body type the Titans have at wide receiver, Kristian Fulton was getting reps on those guys and wasn't doing anything. Look, Jay says, is Logan Ryan a snowflake? I mean, I'm not saying that. You said that. But snowflakes melt pretty quickly.
So, like, I do believe at the end of the day, and the chat can disagree with me, I'm sure that they will, but I do believe that there's a good cornerback somewhere within Kristian Fulton. Like, if he puts it all together. But I do think that this was just another case of a training camp mirage, right? And I'm not going to compare it to Arden Key whooping Andre Dillard every day in practice and, you know, getting a lot of hype and a lot of buzz from training camp. But isn't it kind of the same thing when you look at the Titans wide receiver groups? And you did mention D-Hop, but when he's dominating guys like Traylon Burks, NWI, and Kyle Phillips, it's not exactly the cream of the crop, and it's certainly not the guys he's going to be covering on Sundays.
For sure. But again, but everybody gets burnt. Like every corner loses so much in those one-on-ones. It is designed for the wide receivers to win. They even do 2-on-2 one-on-ones that is just the offense practicing the illegal rub route screens, right? And Kristian Fulton's making plays. Like again, I've been to 11 training camps. I have never seen a cornerback in Titans history over those 11 training camps win as many one-on-one goal line reps against a receiver than I saw Kristian Fulton this past August. I'm dead serious. Like that's how good he was early on. But the problem was zero translated because he was getting arrogant. He was playing, not doing his job. He was not playing by the rules of the coverage. He had his eyes in the wrong place and he was getting burnt and then having to grab and commit penalties to not get completely toasted. So
and that's going to be my next point is they don't throw a lot of flags in training camp either. And that's been a big part of the demise.
There are refs out there. Like they bring, after the first couple of weeks, they bring officials out there to do this and they throw flags and you could bet your ass the players are arguing every flag thrown in practice just like they do in the games. And so look, that we can turn the page on the Kristian Fulton talk, but it's a 0.5% chance that he's back. I think he doesn't want to be back. I think he wants a fresh start. And like David Long Jr. and other Titans before to go have an injury-riddled tenure with the Titans, they've typically been healthier elsewhere. So we'll get to see if Kristian Fulton gets to do that and add his name to the list with David Long Jr., A.J. Brown, Roger Saffold, and others who have moved on from this team and stayed healthy.
Yeah, we'll see. I wish the best for him. I imagine New Orleans is probably at the top of his list for ideal destinations. That's where he's from. But his brother does have a business here that he owns with him. And while you said it might be mutual for the Titans to part ways with him, I don't know. It's been a really rocky year, and I don't know if the bridge was completely burned, but I can't rule it totally out. Like you said, if he lingers and he's available late, in the offseason, maybe they come to terms on a cheap deal. But right now, I'm at a 2%. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. All right, Jack, let's flip the switch over to the Texans week. And man, oh man, is there an interesting update with the Houston Texans facing the Tennessee Oilers on Sunday in Nissan Stadium. Ian Rappaport said yesterday officially Texans star quarterback C.J. Stroud with a concussion did not practice on Wednesday. He did not practice on Wednesday. So our question for all of you is, what's your confidence level in the Titans beating the Texans if C.J. Stroud is not playing? What is your confidence level in the Titans beating the Texans if C.J. Stroud is not playing in this game? We'll get all of your opinions on that. But first, Farm Bureau Health Plans is where you should turn for all of your health coverage needs. If you're across the state of Tennessee, they've been serving Tennesseans for over 75 years, and they've done a phenomenal job of investing in the community across the entire state. Not just the community, but individual communities across the entire state. Over 200 locations across the state, and it shows whenever you go to a high school sporting event or a youth sporting event. The amount of times that you see that Farm Bureau Health Plans logo right there at that event is pretty impressive. They also invest and are great partners with the Tennessee Titans and also the Tennessee Volunteers and other colleges around the state. So if you're looking for a new health plan to kick off 2024 to save some money, to get better coverage, there's no other place to go but fbhp.com/ATOZ.
And if you're looking to get some skin in the game, there's no better place to go than BetMGM. BetMGM.com, the king of sports books. It's named that for a reason. There's plenty of selection up right now. Future bets in the NFL. Who's going to win the Super Bowl? Who's going to make the playoffs? It's a great time to get some skin in the game with BetMGM. Do it with our bonus code A to Z Sports. Code ATOZ Sports gets you up to $1,500 back in bonus bets. If your first bet misses, no sweat if you lose that first bet. They're going to get you right back on track. But you have to use our bonus code when you sign up in order to make sure that you get that $1,500 in bonus bets. So don't forget to plug it in. ATOZ Sports.
Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 or older. Tennessee only new customer offer. All promotions, other qualification, other requirements. First online real money wager only. Rewards issued. Knowledgeable bonus bets. Bonus bets are 7 days. And for problem games, call Tennessee Redline 800-889-9789. All right, Jack. Confidence levels. If CJ Stroud is out, and it looks like it's definitely trending that way, right? It's a concussion, and I don't know if you saw that where he smacked his head on that New York, New Jersey cold turf on Sunday. He did not practice on Wednesday, and you have to be able to practice twice. That's the interesting thing about the concussion protocol. It's not just like a tough it out thing. You have to go through 2 full practices before you can then take the next step to clear concussion protocol. So if CJ Stroud does not practice today, he ain't playing against the Tennessee Titans on Sunday in Nissan Stadium. So watch out for that this Thursday afternoon. So confidence levels, Jack, on a 1 through 10 basis. What's your confidence level the Titans can beat the Texans without CJ Stroud?
Yeah, Tiffany says she can't wait to be there. That's going to be a really fun game to be at. If you have tickets, absolutely get down there, even if the weather is going to be a little yucky. But Guy Mann's at a 4, Eric 7, IR agrees. Stephen King with a very nice 69%. Chris Frazier says a 100. He fully believes in the Titans if the Texans are without CJ Stroud. Willie says 10. With or without, Michael Snyder's at an 80%. Look at the vibe change, Austin. Look what one win against one of the best teams in football does for your fan base. Isn't winning great? Nick Ewing, 88%. Todd, 70%. Patrick, 60%. 10 at home in the throwbacks. Feel good, play good, can't lose. 75% from Scott Weaver. Wright says 6. Titans Kyle at a 6.9. Jason Martinez, very professional score, 67.5%. Darius, another professional score, 8.8 out of 10. Byron, 5. Dre Wilson, a full-on 75. I imagine that's 75%. 70% from Jermel. Billy, 6.5. Zach Goodman's at a 50. Got to get off the fence, Zach Goodman. Austin, it's hard for me to ever get to a 7 with this Titans team. They usually don't have the better roster in the matchup. They usually don't have the better offense in the matchup. So it's hard to get to a 7, especially when you're without Jeffrey Simmons in the middle of that defense. But I think it goes deeper than just CJ Stroud. The Texans are really one of the most injured teams in the league. But you do have to keep in mind what happened when Tyrod Taylor absolutely carved up the Tennessee Titans in a game where everyone expected the Titans to come in and dominate. It was a rainy day in Nissan, a little sleepy Sunday where the Titans didn't get out of bed. And
2021 season? Is that the Dez Fitzpatrick in the wrong place 2 times? So Tannehill threw 2 interceptions and 4 total in the game?
It was. And it's been done before, right? We know that it's been done before. But the Texans, if CJ Stroud can't go, Davis Mills is capable. I think that he's a top 5, top 10 backup in the NFL. And he's young, but Tim Kelly isn't there to help him anymore. Tim Kelly's over here now. He's on the opposite sideline. But it's CJ Stroud did not practice yesterday. Nico Collins, a trusted wide receiver of his, did not go. Tank Dell's on IR as well. Laramie Tunzel, the left tackle, didn't practice. Noah Brown, another receiver, was limited. And so was Robert Woods, an old friend. But on defense, Will Anderson didn't go. Like, there's a lot of key players that are in line to miss this game on Sunday, not just CJ Stroud. So with the Texans' injury issues in mind, Austin, I'm at a 6.5. I can't get to that 7. The Texans roster from top to bottom is better than what the Titans have right now. That changes this offseason, in my opinion. But without CJ Stroud, I'm at a 6.5, which is pretty high. Grading on a curve, it's probably closer to a 90 with like an actual fully functioning roster with talented players. But since the Titans don't have that right now, I'm going to go 6.5 with the Texans not having CJ Stroud on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm looking at the injury report. George Fant didn't practice yesterday, so that's both tackles didn't practice on top of the quarterback. And look, they've got some good players. They didn't practice. The Titans are also a lot more banged up than they were going into the Dolphins game. Excuse me. Aaron Brewer did not practice. Neither did Danico Autry. We've talked about Fulton and Pecco going on IR. Jack Gibbons did not practice. Kyle Phillips, Kevin Rader, Tier Tart. I guess Tier Tart's is personal. DeAndre Hopkins was limited for rest. So the Titans are dealing with it too. But hey, you're a week and a half away from Christmas. Everybody's going through stuff to deal with injury. So I think yours is a 6.5. I kind of.
Come on, jump on the bandwagon.
Davis Mills has put up some numbers against the Titans. He made the Titans sweat it out in that 1-seed season when they had to put up, like, Tannehill threw 4 touchdowns and Julio finally gets in the end zone the last game of the season. They had to sweat that thing out a little bit in Houston to get the 1 seed. So, I'm not going to be walking into Acme on Sunday morning with you, Jack, being like, we're about to watch the Titans win this game. Because still, the Tennessee Titans have not won back-to-back games this season. They have a chance to do it. They've only lost one at home to the Colts, and that was letting that thing go when you had every opportunity to win that game against Indy a couple weeks ago. You bounce back and have an incredible victory against the Dolphins. And my law of average NFL teams, and I don't know if I've talked about this with you yet or not this year. I've talked about it with Zach and Sam too. But the law of average NFL teams is you don't put together winning streaks or incredible performances like that. The Titans are more likely to lay a dud against the Texans in a winnable game because they played so well against the Dolphins. That's how that goes. Yeah. Just like I thought the Titans were going to beat the Falcons in Nissan Stadium because the Falcons won the previous week and Desmond Ridder played well. Average players and average teams don't do that back to back. We'll see if Will Levis can pull it off. But so my official answer, you say 6.5.
Come on.
I'm going to say 6. I'm going to say a flat 6.
Okay,
look, it's still above 5. It's above. I'm over the fence. It's
important to note the Titans currently are 3-point favorites over the Texans before this decision on CJ Stroud is being made. I imagine that's baked into the line that he's probably not going to be able to go.
When it's grown. It opened Titans -1 at BetMGM.
Yes. One last thing on this conversation. There's some intangible motivational factors to consider. A lot of people are going to look at this game and say, the Titans just got a big win on primetime TV. They're going to be feeling themselves. They're going to come out probably a little slow on Sunday. Like you mentioned, it's hard to win 2 games in a row in this league, especially when you don't have the roster to do it. But I think the Titans are going to be as fired up this game as they've been all season. I think that this is absolutely the biggest game on the season. I think Mike Vrabel knows how much Amy Adams-Strunk wants to beat these guys. I think with the Oilers throwbacks on, that helps. The Titans are going to show up early. They're not going to, sit and wait to get hit in the face first. I think that they're going to deliver the first blow on Sunday. There's a lot of momentum after that win in Miami. I think a lot of guys are starting to feel confident. Will Levis, most importantly, is starting to feel really confident. If he can get adequate protection behind that offensive line, I feel really good about the Titans' chances. I think the motivation is going to be there. I think the home crowd in a yucky day outside is actually going to show up. And if you're Mike Vrabel and you're Amy Adams-Strunk, there's one game on the schedule that you don't want to lose. And I understand, you want to beat all your rivals. You want to beat all your divisional opponents. But wearing the Houston Oilers throwbacks with Houston in town, this is a game the Titans got to win. This is a game they've got to win. The team knows it. Mike Vrabel knows it. Amy Adams-Strunk knows it. Motivation is going to be there, and that's why I think the Titans have a significant edge, especially without CJ Stroud.
I just pulled up BetMGM because I saw somebody in the chat saying, take the over. The over's 38, Jack.
And it's 7. I believe it's like 70-ish% chance to rain on Sunday.
I didn't expect that. I thought we were going to have an okay weather day at Acme. But
We
we got to
checked
close
it.
the garage doors up there on the roof.
There's a possibility that happens, but come see us.
Oh,
We'll be
Jack,
inside.
I'm just seeing I'm seeing a 25% chance of rain. I see a high
Okay.
of 51, 25% chance of rain during the day.
Okay, maybe the rain comes later at night, but either way, it's going to be a cold one out there. I feel like the Titans are going to sledgehammer the Texans in the run game. I feel like Tajay Spears really gets going, and the defense is. You talk about the offense playing with confidence. It's something needs to be said for Harold Landry getting 3 sacks and the secondary holding up against Miami. Like, if you can do that against Miami, you've got to really be feeling it. You've got to be feeling really confident. It was a culture win last week. I think that carries over a little bit into this week, and the Titans find a way to get it done. No CJ Stroud helps. Davis Mills is going to be back there, but he's kind of statuesque. He doesn't really use his legs a lot to escape or roll out or anything like that to give the Titans an extra look, an extra guy to look out for with the ball in his hands. I think that plays to the Titans' advantages. Like, Tyrod Taylor came in and did that, but he was a guy who would escape from pressure and extend plays with his legs and pick up tough first downs with his legs. Davis Mills isn't the type of guy to do that. He's going to have to beat you sitting in the pocket, pushing the ball downfield to receivers that, quite frankly, haven't been relied on a lot this year without your top 2 guys, Tank Dell and Nico Collins. So I'm okay with letting Davis Mills try and beat the Texans this week. I don't think he can do it.
Well, Mike Vrabel was asked about that yesterday of preparing for 2 quarterbacks that are both very different. Here's the head coach.
It's a new offense, that they're, operating in, and we'll have to, prepare ourselves for that, first of all. And, whether it is, CJ or Davis, we'll see, and we'll have to understand that, would imagine that the plays are going to be the concepts are going to be somewhat similar. And then, we'll have to go about defending them, whoever's out there and how explosive they've been and everything that they can do.
Mike, speaking of that explosiveness, I mean, apart from last week, they have been able to generate a lot of explosive pass plays. What do you guys need to do to make sure that they don't take the top off the defense?
Yeah, it's I think it's just all about continuing to mix, the coverages and to mix disguise and be sound and, make sure that, they're tied for first in explosive pass play. So that's a huge challenge. I think that the guys that are rushing obviously play a part in that as well. You can't just sit there in one coverage, show them the look. They do a nice job mixing in, the play action game, and being able to move the quarterback into different spots. And he does a nice job keeping his eyes, downfield and stepping up. So when they've been able to protect them in that first and second down, first and second down windows, they've been able to find spaces and different concepts that they work.
On the 2 quarterbacks, they are different, and I think Davis Mills can absolutely play, and I think he can play well enough to beat the Titans because Jeffrey Simmons is not going to play. Obviously, Kristian Fulton's out. We've talked about that enough so far today, and Vrabel's talking about mixing up the coverages. I think mixing up the coverages is important, especially when you talk about playing guys that are not your top tier cover guys. I think it's actually better for the Titans to not be able to rely on their best corners. So you have to outcoach and out scheme this Texans offense. And Bobby Slowick is somebody that I really like. And I'm excited to watch him coach against this Titans team. And so I'm really curious to see what he has for the Titans, regardless if it's Stroud or if it's Davis Mills.
Interesting caveat thrown in there by Mike Vrabel. I don't know if the chat caught it, but he said if they're able to protect him. And when you have a quarterback that's not very mobile, maybe you don't have either tackle heading into this week, that's a massive advantage for the Titans pass rush. And if the pass rush gets home early, you don't have to worry about Trey Avery and those guys in the secondary because Mills will be forced to make a quick decision, make errant throws, possibly be hit while he's throwing the football, and that creates turnovers. I think that this particular matchup, if you're without Stroud, if you're without your left tackle, Laramie Tunsil, possibly without your right tackle and George Fant, that the Titans have no reason to allow the Texans to hit 20 points. I think that this defense can keep them to 14 or lower, and I expect them to do that. I feel really good about this matchup, and the injury report has a lot to do with it, but Davis Mills with no tackles, with none of his starting tackles available, doesn't scare me. He should be shaking in his boots after watching Harold Landry on tape last week. Arden Key showed up a bit last week, and Danico Autry, Austin, the Titans are the only team in the NFL with 2 pass rushers to have 8 sacks at this point in the season. Danico Autry and Harold Landry, the only team in the NFL with 2 guys with 8 sacks. I expect those numbers to get bumped up this week as well. Maybe one of those 2 gets to double digits, but I think Davis Mills is going to be in a world of pain come Sunday.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up a stat because I saw Mickey Ryan tweet this from 104.5 that since that Panthers game, in the 2 games, I guess since the Panthers game, so you're talking Colts and then oh wait, never mind. It's the Panthers, Colts, and Dolphins game. Arden Key has 2.5 sacks. Autry has 3 sacks. Harold Landry has 3.5 sacks. So those 3 guys have stepped it up the last 3 games, and Jeffrey Simmons obviously did not play. And so I think it's really impressive of where they're at. I mean, you're talking right there. You're talking about 9 sacks between those 3 guys in the last 3 games. That's pretty legit. Now, Andre has a comment because I said the Titans coaches are now forced to outcoach the Texans because they are down a couple players. Andre says these coaches outcoach and outscheme. Fingers crossed, not holding your breath. Andre, did you watch Monday night's game? Did you watch Monday night's game? Did you watch Monday night's game, Andre? Because the Tennessee Titans out-schemed genius Mike McDaniel to death. And I'm the one who tweeted the funny Billy Madison clip of Billy Madison clip of the Dolphins offensive scheme versus the Titans offensive scheme when Billy Madison couldn't play the recorder in the decathlon.
That was a golden tweet. And Mike Vrabel and the Titans very likely could have just created a blueprint for defenses across the league to beat Miami, and that is to force them to throw the ball outside the numbers to limit the run after catchability that we see from Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. It was a great scheme. And really another point in that game was Miami was really not able to sustain a long touchdown drive. A couple of their touchdown drives came from less than 20 yards out off of Titans turnovers. So the Titans absolutely are capable of out scheming and out coaching everybody. Do they do it on a weekly basis? No. Yeah. That's where you might have a little point.
And this Andre is commenting on this like he's a national person talking about a team he doesn't watch. He says, I saw Miami lose Tyreek and O-line. Our players won the game, not the scheme, LOL. What players? Andre, Jack Gibbons, Jaleel Johnson, who was wearing
McClendon.
16 McClendon. Yeah, that guy, McClendon, Zach McClendon. And then you look at they big time out. Look, they had Trey Avery and out there, and sometimes Eric Guerra because Roger McCreary missed some snaps. They had Trey Avery as an outside corner that confused Tua. Who is the safety playing next to Amani Hooker half the time? Elijah Molden and Kayvon Wallace. Yeah, the Titans took advantage of the Dolphins having some injured offensive linemen. Yeah, sure. Calvin Throckmorton was playing right guard a lot for the Titans, and you've got Jalen Duncan at left tackle and Dylan false start Radens at right tackle. And you're telling me the Titans scheme did not win them the game? They confused Tua. They did a fantastic job of disguising coverages and scheming up blitzes and pressures to make Tua uncomfortable, especially in the red zone. And you got to give the Titans coaching staff credit for that. You have to.
My man's just ate, left no crumbs. I love it, Austin.
All right. Andre has a super chat that I forgot to get to earlier. He says, and he's calling himself the fake fan. Something else this fake fan was right about Burks, Fulton, O-line, tanning the team, Titan Nation, one in my head. At least Levis is proving him wrong. Hey, as long as Will Levis is proving Andre wrong, I think everybody else can move on from that. So one more. When is Zach getting tased? Asked Maven. I don't know. I think I've excused Zach's taser bet Christian McCaffrey because I don't want to tase Zach. We need each other for the business. The business is now too big for us to risk health because of a tase bet 5 years ago. But
yeah, okay. HR wouldn't be happy with that one, I imagine.
Yeah, I'm the HR at this point. All right, Jack. We have reloaded. We have reloaded the Magic Bucket, and I am excited about it. But I'm also excited to tell you that our sponsor Aura can make your life easier by protecting your information online. Data brokers are out there to get you. The spam calls are out of this world. We're getting those every day. The junk emails for things you never signed up for because companies are just sharing your email and your info list to list, company to company internally to just bogging down your life. Don't let that happen anymore. Aura's helped me out. They identified 30 data brokers that were selling my information against my will, and they opted me out of all those lists on my behalf and stripped my information away from those 30 data brokers in 5 or 6 days. 5 or 6 days, that was it. And now I don't get those spam calls anymore. And to be honest, I don't, because Aura's constantly checking to see where my information is getting shared and getting me out of those situations. And you can get a 2-week free trial with our link, aura.com/ATOZ, a 2-week free trial to get rid of that. It's great around the holidays. We're all buying stuff online. You're going to get up on more lists, especially as the new year begins. It's the perfect time to sign up with Aura with our link only, aura.com/ATOZ for a 2-week free trial. Jack, it is now time for the bucket. And shout out Wilson County Hyundai, as always, the perfect spot to get your new ride in Lebanon. Save some money on that new car by taking a trip I-40 East to Lebanon to see our friend Payne Bone at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. Jack, are you excited about the new things that we have in the bucket?
Yes, I am. Austin, you and I kind of collabed on this, and there's some fun ones in there. There's some scary ones in there. I've got a nervous excitement about me right now.
Yeah, and so here's what we did. I think, how many did we end up putting there? Was it 25 or 30? About 30-ish?
I believe it was 30, maybe 31.
Okay, so there was a list. There were 3 pages of them. And so what I did is I sliced and diced with my scissors this morning half of the list. So I put half of the list in there, and now I'll put the other half of the list in there for next week to see if we can get some new ones here. So, and Grim Jim is saying he'll donate his cattle prod. I'm not branding
oh my
that.
God. Grim Jim.
About tasing. There's a guy, you weirdo. My goodness.
That's a funny comment. I love that comment.
All right. This is the new one. This is for you, Jack.
Okay.
I can get my bucket to stay on the table right there. Okay. Do you shower in the morning or at night? And explain why.
Yeah. So, I used to be a 2-shower-a-day guy. But I shower in the mornings now because, I understand, you don't get a lot of dirt on you when you're sleeping, right? But I shower in the morning more of a wake me up shower than anything. I like to sit under the hot water, nice 5, maybe 7 minutes, wake you up a little bit. Run your fingers through your flowing hair. I've got so much flowing hair. I know you guys can tell why I wear hats every day. But I'm a morning shower guy. It just wakes me up, gets me ready for the day. You start to feel clean. I shower in the mornings now, but I don't mind a night shower. I like to do night showers sometimes on the weekends. Maybe I stay in, get a little nice little night shower, nice little me time. Formulate my Titans takes. Get ready for the game day shows, for the morning shows. There's some great thinking done in my shower.
Yeah, showers where ideas get born. So the influence for this morning Magic Bucket slip is because one of our guys down at Acme, one of the engineers down there that helps us out, he is a night shower guy, and he's like, I'm a DJ. I do stuff throughout the day. He's like, I'm not getting in my sheets after all that stuff, so I'm a nighttime shower guy. He's like, you know what? I get that. So Jack, morning shower guy. Right,
morning shower guy.
Grim says, don't scrub your hair too hard, Jack.
I know, Grim Jim. Believe me, I got to hold on to all that I got left.
That's right. All right. This is for me. Does your current car have a name, and what is it? Yes, we name our cars. We have 2 cars, and so the car that I drive most frequently, his name is Bruce. He is a Lexus IS Sport. He's black, and his name is Bruce because of 2 reasons. He's more shark than he is dolphin. When you look at cars, there are rounded dolphin type cars and there are shark cars. Bruce is more of a shark, sharper edges with that sleek sport style. So Bruce is the car's name because he's a shark after Bruce the shark in Finding Nemo. That too, because our other car's name is Dory, like Dory in Finding Nemo, but that's a longer story of why that's happened. So I'll save that one. But yeah, he's also Bruce because he's kind of like a Batmobile. And so Bruce for the Batmobile and for Bruce the shark in Finding Nemo. So that is my car's name. So Dory and Bruce.
Yeah, I've actually gotten to give Bruce a couple of rides around town.
You've been in both. You've been in both Dory and Bruce.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I like the. Okay,
we don't have I don't have a car and my wife doesn't have a car. We have situations, right? We have what is a Bruce situation versus a Dory situation. Dory gets better gas mileage, being like a mid-size SUV than the Sport. And so whenever you need the gas mileage, you go with Dory. Whenever you're trying to style it up date night or you're trying to get somewhere super fast, you take Bruce because he's got the sport mode. You flip it in there, you get where you're going. So that is Bruce and Dory.
The sport mode flex, I love it. I think Bruce is more of a Barracuda than anything, Austin.
Yeah, but like dolphiny versus shark. Like you see them like there's a rounded some cars and then a sharper shark type car. Those are
2 main characters. Bruce has main character energy. I love it.
My name's Bruce, right? Yeah.
I'm excited to ride in it this Sunday. I can't wait.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know who I'll be in. I might be in Dory. I might be in Bruce, but you'll find out on Sunday when I pick you up to go to Acme. I think that's fun. I think the fact that Jack and I carpool down to Acme is an underrated storyline of this Titan season. We'll be up there on Sunday at the rooftop, rain or shine, on the rooftop at Acme Feed and Seed. Shout out to Spirited Hive and Ranch Water. Guys, it's a perfect place to watch Titans games. If you're not going to the game, if you are going to the game, pregame and postgame with us at Acme, Spirited Hive and Ranch Water have game day specials. $1 off Spirited Hive canned cocktails. They're very good. I've had them. I got a couple free samples right before the season started and enjoyed those throughout the football season. And also Ranch Water has bucket specials where you basically get a free ranch water in their bucket on game day. So if you haven't been down to Acme yet, you got 3 more times to do it. This Sunday, Christmas Eve, we will be down there at Acme on Christmas Eve. And then we've got the first game of 2024 against the Jags, the regular season finale. So you guys need to come down there and see us at Acme. Seriously.
Do it. It's so much fun. We love to talk ball with all of you. Come, if you can't make it before the game, you should make it before the game. Definitely come after. Bring the noise. It's such a fun environment when it's packed out. I'm hoping to see some of y'all there this weekend.
Absolutely. So appreciate you guys as always. Great show today, talking the end of Kristian Fulton and potentially no CJ Stroud, most likely no CJ Stroud against the Titans on Sunday. But before you head out of here, hit that like button. We need more likes. Always more people that are watching the show that have hit the like button, which I think is weird. Like, why not like it? Like, you're here watching it. Just hit the button. You're commenting like crazy. Hit the button for us. And we'll see you guys tomorrow on a Friday, Buck Rising Live Tonight for A to Z Sports Primetime. We'll catch you later.